Now, when you talk about personnel, it's a fascinating subject. You could spend the whole week just talking about, and I'm sure within your companies, in terms of bringing the right people in and wanting that one right balance and wanting character and wanting intellect and wanting that team kind of personality. I always looked at personnel, I go back to the adage of the bacon and egg breakfast. See, in a bacon and egg breakfast, the chicken's involved, the pig is committed. I always got to wait for that a little bit. Think about that now, right? You want to be surrounded by pigs, right? But you come to realize you can't have all pigs. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to have some chickens. And that's not to be demeaning about them. Sometimes it's their personal circumstances. There's a lot of reasons why they're chickens. But if you have nothing but pigs in your organization, consider yourself lucky, because I've never had a team where I had all pigs. The mercenary versus the patriot. One of the things that you find out early in this analogy when you talk about it, in identifying the attributes that they're looking for. There was a fabulous book, Good to Great, written by Dr. Collins down the way at Stanford. I was 3 years at Stanford and had an incredible opportunity to interact with some people. And what's the first tenet in his book, Good to Great? Who's on the bus, right? First who, then what? So the personnel you're going to bring in is obviously pivotal. But you've got to be careful with that. You have got to be very careful before you pass up talent. Because obviously that fundamental ability to do the job is key to any of our successes. But by the same token, that balance of teamwork, of partnership that we're talking about can become paramount. Everybody here right now has somebody in your organization that as I start describing, it's going to come to mind, a man or a woman, incredibly competent, charismatic, maybe a salesman, maybe an administrator, has just an aura about them, is an incredible producer, but they're a jackass, right? T.O. Chad Ochocinco, who still to this day doesn't know that doesn't mean 85, okay? So when you add, the question becomes, in a talent-driven industry, yours just like mine, where is that dividing line in terms of who I bring into this organization? It's fascinating. I just got done with the draft up in New York. I had done the combine in Indianapolis. You guys have been to a job fair. Well, Indianapolis is the biggest job fair in the National Football League. We bring in 300 of the top athletes. You put them through every imaginable workout you can fathom. And then each team has 60 individuals that you get to sit with for 15 minutes to try to look into this man's soul and decide, do I want him to be a part of my company? Am I really ready to turn around, give him somewhere between maybe $20 and $50 million guaranteed to come be a team member on my team? And that's a hard thing to do. They are so conditioned nowadays, as you know, when you go to interview, whether it's on a college campus or in a corporate environment, they are so schooled now in what to say. You got to find a way to get them off their mantra, so to speak. The agents have got them so well disciplined. We had one kid, and as you know, obviously in the NFL, as in your industry, character is a big deal, and young people will make mistakes. And there was one young man, we were near the end of the week, I'd been through 60 interviews, it was late in the night, and he comes in, and he had a bit of a rap sheet. Nothing really serious, but enough to say, this guy's got some judgment issues. So I got to cut to the heart of it. He sat down and said, look, I'm tired, you're tired, I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm looking at your rap sheet right now. Are you stupid or just a thug? And he paused and he goes, are those my only choices? So I knew right away he wasn't stupid. So that character obviously is going to be a key component. And I've long said in the National Football League, character is not a matter of morals or ethics. It's an economic question. Because the judgments you're going to make, you saw it last week in the draft, guys that your coaches would jump up on that pedestal and say, no, we want high character, so we're not going to take him in the first round. But if he's there in the third round, you're darn right I'll take him, right? Because it's less of a cost. Well, is the character important? Is it important or not? And it's a hard thing to judge because in our draft board in Baltimore, we had a saying up above the board that we always wanted to remind ourselves. Those that won't are no better than those that can't. Think about that. You don't want to pass up talent. But at some point, you have to make sure that that talent meshes in the partnership that we've been talking about all day. And there's going to be a priority as to whether are they going to be part of that partnership, or possibly Are they that individually talented that you feel like you can absorb them, and you want to be careful with that? We would do that constantly in Baltimore. No matter what the guy's background was, no matter what his history, you know what, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, they'll take care of him. They'll show them how we do things around here. Be very careful when you ask that of your other employees to absorb that kind of brutality, that kind of beating from someone that talented, that gifted, but isn't a team player. It's that balance that you've got to be careful what you're asking of your organization in terms of that individual. So you've got your pigs, you've got your patriots, and what is the ratio? I'll share that with you, and it's very definable. I knew that if I didn't have 30% of the pigs on my team, if 30% of them weren't at that level, and every rookie that comes in, every young person comes into your organization, where they tell you, hey, I'm with you, coach, I'm just here to go to a Super Bowl. No, you're not. You're lying through your teeth. You want to make the team because you want that contract. And once you get on the team and get that money, then you want your touches, your tackles, your receptions, whatever it is that dictates you're going to get that next contract so that you can get the Pro Bowls. And then maybe after you get all that, then maybe you're going to be one of my picks. Then maybe you're all about just getting a Super Bowl, the way I had people like Shannon Sharp, Rod Woodson, Rob Burnett, Tony Saragusa, the guys who had all that stuff, but were all about getting the ring, all about winning the championship, but only because they were at that point in their career. So you start off with the very fact that, well, how many of these pigs do I need? I've come up, for me and every team I've ever had, it was about 30%. If 30% of my team were pigs, I knew I were in good shape. And it's not a haphazard number. I've written a number of books, and those in the printing or the publishing industry will tell you only about 30% of their materials make money. The rest are lost leaders. In baseball, what's the old adage? No matter how good you are, you're going to lose a third of your games. No matter how bad you are, you're going to win a third, unless you're the Baltimore Orioles, okay? So what do you do with that other, it's that final third? I heard a comedian one time say, you know what, I get into a room, I get into a stadium, I can't get everybody into the routine. I focus on about 20 to 30%. And if I can get them going, I can get them involved and interactive, then the rest will follow in. So you've got to identify that 30%, and if you don't have it, you better develop it, or you better go acquire it. Because otherwise, you as a leader, it's going to fall too often back to you to be the sole focus of that leadership, and it's probably going to wear you out.